Well, Phil Robertson will return to Duck Dynasty, but the controversy apparently far from over. A&E responding to the outcry from fans, reversing the reality star's suspension following comments that he made in a GQ interview. But the very group behind the petition to get Robertson back on the air apparently not entirely happy with the network. Here's what they said. The founder of Faith-Driven Consumers says, quote, "Faith-driven consumers will remain vigilant as we measure whether A&E's actions reflect true tolerance, diversity, and mutual respect, including their equal embrace of our biblically based values and deeply held beliefs." Joining us now, Michael Graham, Boston Herald radio talk show host, and Leslie Marshall, syndicated radio talk show host and Fox News contributor. Thank you both for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, it seems like no one's happy in this case with A&E. We have, the Christian conservatives saying, or at least this group, saying it's too little too late. They're not doing enough. We have GLAAD saying, they're not happy either. So how does A&E shape up in this? Leslie, I'll start with you. Is it a major blunder or major bank for A&E?
I think it's going to be a major bank because I think more people tuned into Duck Dynasty that had never heard of it, like some people I was talking to over the holiday break, or some people that maybe have never watched it. In the end, remember, these people who are angry, they have a choice. They have a choice to watch Duck Dynasty or not, to watch anything on A&E or not, or to buy or not buy the products advertised. So at the end of the day, they have to decide, is their love of Duck Dynasty greater than their hatred of A&E? And one further thing regarding tolerance, everybody's talking about the gay comments Phil made. I mentioned this before here on Fox. I was offended about him saying that pre-Jim Crow laws that African Americans were happy. And I was quite offended by that as a white woman, and that does not speak of tolerance, diversity, or, in my opinion, Christian values.
So, Michael, what do you think? Good move by A&E to reinstate Phil Robertson. And what about this group saying that, it's too little too late, not enough, and they're going to continue to monitor the situation?
Well, A&E was in an untenable position. They couldn't keep up the ruse of, boy, this Phil Robertson guy is so offended that after we finish airing all the episodes he's in, we're going to punish him. I would have admired to a degree A&E if they really were offended by what Phil Robertson stands for, and they'd said, we don't want this on our network anymore. But they clearly never said that. This never had anything to do with A&E. It had to do with their fear of GLAAD. So the good news, the big win here, is that a special interest group that believes in ending debate and making it impossible to disagree with them without being labeled as a hater has lost, and that's good news. I think the evangelical group, if I were them, I'd just be smiling and saying thank you and let's move on. But having read their statement several times, I think what they're trying to say is, if you're going to let these guys be on TV and be themselves, then let them be themselves. Have the diversity of opinion, the diversity of attitude that supposedly the left loves. Of course, the left doesn't love. They believe in giving you the right to say whatever it is they agree with.
Well, and the way I read it, I understood this faith-based group to be saying that they just want to make sure that A&E includes biblically valued perspectives as well, because A&E they're now saying that they're going to use this opportunity to create this PSA to talk about unity, to talk about tolerance and acceptance. So, Leslie, what is wrong with making sure that they include biblically based values as well?
Oh boy, is that beyond a slippery slope. A&E has no responsibility to any religious group, Christian or otherwise, majority or otherwise. If Christians or any other religious organization want to watch something, there are on my TV 1,072 channels, and a number of them, such as the 700 Club, CBN, are just Christian channels. I think that's absolutely crazy. I mean, A&E puts this show on, either they like it or they don't, they watch it or they don't, and I do agree with Michael partially. This wasn't about GLAAD or tolerance with A&E. It was about the bottom line and money. What would Jesus do? I don't think he'd have a TV show. I don't think he'd be watching TV. And if they want to really be Christians, then they need to practice forgiveness, which is actually the platform of Christianity.
Okay, but well, Michael, they willingly say, Michael, A&E willingly says they're going to use this opportunity to talk about, unity, tolerance, and acceptance. So why not include Christian values in that?
Well, once again, I think the point was, if you watch, look, there are 2,000 channels on my cable. 1,000 of them apparently are some version of Law and Order all the time. But if you ever see people who are people of faith on Law and Order, if you see people who are people of faith on the show like Scandal, there's something wrong with them. They are the bad guys, the villains, they're hypocrites, they're awful, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that there's a legitimate argument to be made. Look, show the same desire for diversity and tolerance of these ideas that you do to, for example, the idea that same-sex marriage is part of the middle of the deal.
I have to end it on that, but thank you both for joining us. A lot of people have a lot to say about it. Thank you.